What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Off Topic. Today I'm with Carlos Mojica, co-founder, co-owner of Opinionated Media. And today we're with Jaylen Ellis, local product out of Austin. Shout out to the Centex boys because I'm sure we'll get into it, but it's never been easy for us to make it out of here, you know, and go to the Power 5 level. But, you know, grateful to talk to him. Good opportunity. Shout out to Lon for making the connection, and excited to talk to him, get to know him better, and you know, support them going into this next season of college football. So
appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for taking time out your day, coming on the show. Appreciate it. Let's give us a little backstory, a little where you came from, how you got to where you're doing now, all that good stuff.
For the most part, the story is simple. I was raised around Rock, Texas. Just, y'all know the area, familiar. It wasn't too much of a struggle growing up. I mean, I had good supporting cast. I had a whole family around me. I had pretty much the whole city once it got to a specific point. Mm-hmm. Once we got to high school, it kind of climbed to the level where you're kind of like a known figure in this little area of what you are. So from that standpoint, when we come to ball, it was written early. I had an offer at 15, committed at 15, and it just kind of took off from there. So I kind of kept pushing, kind of kept doing my own thing, and landed me to Baylor originally.
Nice. When did you start playing football?
At 4.
At 4? Yeah.
4
From
old.
like, is that kind of when you knew like this is what I want to play?
By the time, honestly knew football was the one early. Probably, I wouldn't say immediately at 4. I was a baseball player my whole life too, so that was another big thing for me. And I loved baseball, but ultimately football, it just outweighed baseball. Like I played it all the way up to high school, and then you kind of see, oh wow, I have X amount of offers in this sport, and I'm not booming in this one. So it kind of just takes over. It's like, what do I want to get free education?
Did you play select?
Yeah.
Who'd you play for?
Who didn't I play for at this point? I've played for multiple teams. I played a team out in ATX. I played with a team out in San Antonio. There's a lot of travel ball growing up, so that was it.
Because I'm same boat as you. I played football growing up, and then I played baseball as well.
Right.
But there was a point where like I love football more, so I stopped playing baseball. And then there was a point where I loved baseball, so I stopped playing football. So like once I got to like high school, I think my freshman year was like my last year.
Yeah.
But I was better at football than I was at baseball, but I just loved baseball.
Baseball's more fun when you're in it. It's cool. Like
it just I would tell him it's just a different camaraderie.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
It's more of a family because I mean you have 24 guys on the team, maybe if that. In football you have 60, so it's like everybody has like there's just little groups here and there.
yeah. Football's very cliquey, like position, offense, defense. Like you kind of just stay with who you play with. You know,
baseball is just it's like basketball, just a few guys, so it's just easy to connect with everybody.
Football's definitely one of those sports where it's like you kind of don't. I mean, it's a team aspect, of course, but it's like you said, it's very cliquey. You stay to what you really do. The receivers with the receivers, DBs with the DBs, and then you come together at one point. But baseball is one of those ultimate team sports where it's like we're all we have. That ball goes to the left, you got to go. So that's how it is from that standpoint.
Did you play outfield?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I was a catcher for a while, and I loved catcher. It just knees went bad after X amount of years. Started that at 4 years old too. So, you can only imagine the Oscar slaughters and the pains that I had growing up.
Looking back, do you wish you kind of stick with baseball or nah?
In the safer route, ultimately for my body. Like, I'm 3 surgeries out now at this point, and it probably wouldn't have happened in baseball, but, I mean, it's the path I chose, and, I mean, it comes with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So,
so I guess take us, you know, whenever you get to high school, and I guess like kind of your early years, you're balling. You get an offer early at 15.
Yeah.
I guess who was that? Who was the first team offer? Was it Baylor?
Baylor.
Okay,
Baylor
so
was the very first one out the gates.
Did that help? Like, I guess whenever you get to your decision process, they had been, you know, with you since the beginning, or like how'd your recruitment go?
Ultimately,
offered so early.
Recruitment with that. So Baylor offered me June 15th, 2017, going into my junior year. So I'm still young, and going into my second year on varsity, it was cool because it was like you kind of have to put a chip on your shoulder at a point. You kind of have to just be what you're supposed to be. Like you have that offer, you got to say that for a reason. So I mean, clearly it was shown as a sophomore, but then junior year it really kind of took over. So when it came to recruiting and who I signed with, ultimately that was one because it was like you see the importance of, shoot, I know I was better at 18 my senior year than I was 15. So they definitely rode it through for 2 years solid, and that's kind of why I ended up signing how I did.
How many offers did you have?
25 plus. It was between 25 30. I forgot. There was like smaller schools where I just kind of didn't.
Yeah.
How is it for you getting recruited by Baylor, a school that's an hour and a half away, rather when Texas is right down the street? Like, not even, because I always like wondered that. I'm like, dude, there's like, why is Texas never recruiting their backyard when there's a lot of good talent here? So like, does that kind of like, I guess, put a chip on y'all shoulder of like, when y'all play them, it's like, I'm gonna tear y'all up because y'all don't want to recruit me, even if you didn't want to go there. But it's like the fact that you're getting an offer from a hometown.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the 3 guys that were here that kind of set things off. We had the offers. It just kind of they didn't enforce, like you said, the backyard thing. Like they have a lot of homegrown talent, and like we were talking about Garrett. Imagine if Garrett goes to Texas, like that only does X amount of things from a program from kids that are only 15, 20 minutes away from you. I was never a Texas fan. Never been. Never tried to be. I think when I was younger, I did. Just being from Austin, you see burnt orange everywhere. But then I got older, and I realized that this is nothing I want to be a part of because everybody likes it. Everybody from my city is like, oh, if you get the chance, go to Texas. No. If I get the chance, I want to play Texas. I mean, ultimately, I got to do what I wanted to do. Biggest dream was to score in DKR. I got to do that. So it was never one of those things where it was like I even wanted to go to Texas. And it was never a bad blood thing either. It's just kind of the fact that, like you said, they didn't put in the effort. They didn't put in the time. They didn't do a lot. And you see, I got a buddy that hoops for Texas, Dylan. Like, I love to see Dylan Dessou. Yeah, I love to see him doing what he's doing because, like, you see what the hell can happen when you go right down the street. So that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, because, I mean, going back to baseball, what's his name? Rhule. Yeah, Cash. It's at K-State, and he did well for them. But it's like, I guess for baseball, for Texas, a little bit different because they're. I
was gonna say that's a whole different.
Ballgame, they're the top of the top up there with LSU. Yeah. And like when you go into Texas, you know that you're going to compete for Omaha every year. You're going to be in the without a doubt.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a little bit different. But I've always like wondering, like, dude, why do they just never like recruit in their backyard when there's a lot like Garrett? Garrett was like the biggest one. Was like. Which he is from Ohio, so it makes sense why he went to Ohio State.
I mean, I get that ultimately, but like even without talking to him, I think truly he would have been willing to stay on the field or stay down here in Austin. Yeah. Truly, I think there was something that he never gave it off, but I knew that was where he took an official, and it was one of the guys I was kind of excited to see. I knew Ohio State was coming early. Told me before the news dropped, but I mean. Something told me that they didn't do enough in order to get him where he needed to be.
Yeah, because Tom was there, right?
Tom was there, and then even if you go back, like talking about like some of the homegrown talent, I'm thinking about like when I was playing, and then you had like Samaje, Chance Waz, rest in peace, the boy, Latrell, Trey Mosley, all the Henderson cats. Really, that's like kind of like. I know they helped jumpstart a lot of stuff too.
For sure.
PJ Mambonasaur, Henderson. Like all of them, they kind of like jump started that, but none of them went to Texas either. Yeah. You know, it's kind of they all went to good schools like Nebraska, OU, Houston. I'm trying to think, Chance with the Baylor.
Yeah.
So like, it's kind of.
That's what I thought.
No, you're good.
No, you're good.
It might be one of the things where, like you said, like people just want to play against Texas, or they get the opportunity. They're like, oh, I'm gonna go somewhere else. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, Samaje, like. He shouldn't have. There's no reason he should go to the rival.
No.
Like, you have him 20 minutes outside of your city, and he ends up going to Oklahoma. Like, ultimately, I'm not mad at anybody's decision. It's your choice. It's just, why leave if you don't have to? And it's like, now I realize that when I'm older, like, what city would you want to live in ultimately? Where would you want to be? And
connections.
Like
life after football.
Yeah, and it's like, I could stay in Austin, Texas, truly, but I couldn't stay in Waco, Texas.
Yeah.
It's just...
And it's just because we have a group chat that we talk, and it's like one question we asked one time was like, what college if you could go to any college and play sports, where would you go? And even though I'm a big fan of Texas, that's my team, I would still pick Texas just because life after football, and there's just so many connections here that you're kind of just set, and that you played football, and especially if you started, you're even more set.
Yeah, no, you're lit. I mean. So you can only imagine like guys like a
and the city's dope itself.
Yeah, like it's awesome, man. Like they're gonna support you. They're gonna show up 100,000 deep every time. Like it's cool for sure. I just don't understand why it could never take place like how it should.
So what was it like? I guess being that guy? Like everybody just knows you, and they're like, oh, they're gonna go watch. Like, oh, you're gonna watch Jaylen play tonight, and whatnot. Like, how is it being that guy? Because when you're a 4-star, like you're pretty much that guy on your team.
Yeah.
There's some teams where like they do have 4 and 5 stars, but for the most part, you're a 4-star. You're that guy on your team. So like, how is that like when you're young and you just have that popularity?
I mean, I handled it really humbly at the time. I wish I played with more of a chip at times, just to kind of get my point across, versus the fact of me always just head down, nose down. I mean, it was cool. I loved it. I loved being the guy because it's like who's there for you specifically. And then when you go on a team, it's like Deuce wasn't a big thing yet. Like I knew who he was, but he wasn't a big thing yet. So that took off, I guess, like his senior year. But when you go to even stuff like a spring game, like, spring game going into my senior year, you see 35-plus coaches, and you see everybody asking, like, oh, who's wearing number 1? Like, because you knew it was actually me. And it was cool. So it was like you had the limelight on you. You go around the city, shoot, I still go around the city now. And people will remember Cedar Ridge, my time there. And I'm like, okay, cool. But I think it was just cool that they remember that, and they remember more than ball. They remember who I was. Like I was cool. I was cool with the team. I mean, we all had great moments. We did a lot of great things, and I mean, I love it. So that's part of it.
And what went into the jersey number?
Oh, with 4.
Yeah.
Ultimately, so funny story. When I first got on varsity, this is the end of my freshman year. Coach Bell just gets there, and for some reason, none of the upperclassmen wanted 4. Nobody. And so 1 comes across 2, 3, and 4. And I look around, none of the upperclassmen wanted it, so I raised my hand. I'm like, I want a single digit. Mm-hmm. So I took it, ran with it. My junior year comes, I want 1. My mom tells me no. She's like, you should just ride it out. Senior year comes, I'm like, let me just go out with a bang. She's like, no, I think you should just ride it out. I'm like, you know what? All right, I already did my thing. 4 is kind of known as me at this point, so I just kind of kept it going at that point. Yeah. But 4 was never my number. It's not the number I wanted intentionally. I wanted 1 for some reason.
It's clean.
It's just clean. Yeah, I'm looking at Hurts right now. Yeah. It's like the 1 it's just clean.
Cold, yeah,
clean.
Yeah, I can't.
It's just like kind of like not the most recognizable, but like you just see one on the field, just like kind of hard to think he's
a guy. Yeah, like it's all just an image thing.
Yeah.
So fast forward. You start heating up in high school, getting recruited. You're getting down to you committed early, so kind of committing early like that was your recruiting process as you continued to rise in the rankings and whatnot. Did teams try to really come after you harder, like after they're like, oh, this is like a hidden gem, but he's becoming a 4-star, he's committed to Baylor? It's like, or other schools like the Texases of the world, Oklahomas, Ohio State, are they coming after you trying to like change your mind later?
In high school, so you're still not aware of everything. Mm-hmm. Like you're still not like, now my perspective doing this recruiting process out of the portal versus high school is way different. Because in high school, you probably could have came and swayed me and said, hey, why are you going down the street to Waco, Texas? You might as well come up to Norman. And there's a lot of that because, like I said, at 17, 18 years old, you're looking at almost like one of my coaches told me, he was like, you're looking at the pretty girl versus the good girl. Like the pretty girl might be the school that's up top 15 every year, but they're not producing, not doing what. But then this one, the good girl's over here getting you the degree you want, everything in the background comes together. And that's real, truthfully. Like, I go back and look at the schools I was recruited by, look at the schools I took officials to, and I'm like, what separated some of these schools and why did I even pay attention to them versus where I ended up? Like, and it made sense when you go on a deeper dive and you go on that official visit, you kind of get everything under your belt. It shows you a lot, but at the same time, it shows you a painted image of what you think college is like. And then when you step on campus, nothing like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, they definitely did try to sway a lot. In conference schools for sure, but also outside of school, outside of conference, because they're just trying to get who they can at that point.
Getting the top talent, like see if we can get in the recruiting process late. I mean, lately I've been keeping up with it a lot, and it's just you see kids commit early, flip. Like I'm sure we'll talk about it, but like NIL wasn't even around back then. Now it's around, so it's like you could be, committed to a school. They could have all these factors checked. Then another school comes and they're like, hey, we'll give you X amount just to come here. And then you just see that money. at 18 years old, or your family situation, whatever it may be, you might be like, this is just too much money. I can't even I can't turn that down, you know? So it's crazy how much the process has changed. I guess you said you got hurt before you went into college. Was that like when you went to college, or when did that injury happen? The first one?
That happened in the All-American game, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, my senior year, I was running a post, and my knee just planted wrong, and it almost sounded like a gunshot. So I'm playing in the Alamo Dome. You didn't hear anything. You just kind of heard your knee and the click. And to me, I already knew. Like, I was like, I've never felt the pain like that. I've never heard something like that. So I just knew what it was at that point. So you go from, like I said, being an All-American in January to you enrolling in May, and you're still doing rehab. And you know you're not going to be able to play in the season. Like, it just sucks. So my head kind of went down for a little bit. As you could go from that guy to, in college, they don't care. So you go from all that. So you had a lot of highs and lows in college, but I mean, it was cool for the most part.
When you get hurt and stuff like that, who pays for it?
Oh, if you're on scholarship, everybody, the school does. They'll take care of everything.
So they take care of your surgery? That's dope.
Yeah, that's nice.
Going back to recruitment, is like all that kind of overwhelming?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I had moments, like I said, where I didn't know who to talk to. I couldn't go to my team and talk about, oh, what do you think about Ohio State? Or what do you think about Tennessee? You just couldn't do it because they don't know what it's like to have that in your phone. So, like I said, I would have to go outside to other sources, the other guys that are getting recruited like me that understand. It's overwhelming because you see schools like, what's the word? Like, just a logo you see. Like, you see Texas, it's dominant. You see, you know exactly what it is. You're not talking about James Madison. You're not talking about smaller schools. You're talking about schools that come with a punch, ultimately. Yeah. So, yeah, it is really nerve-wracking because you're putting these trust in the staff, whatever they're telling you, you have to believe because you're only on these visits so many times. You can only see so many things. You don't see the campus. You don't see all the lifestyle that you're really going to live. So it is overwhelming, and I definitely had times where I struggled.
Yeah, and I mean, you do have to trust them. It kind of sucks, though, because I feel like when you're getting recruited, the person recruiting you, that's kind of like who you put your trust into, or like if the receiver coach comes and you put your trust into them, and then at the end of the day, player or coach, it's a business. Yeah, so like if that coach leaves, you're just like, damn, and he's not taking you, or you can't go with them, or whatever the case is. Like, damn, I came here because I wanted to play for him.
That's
kind of like what happened to him with his DB coach in college, but just. That's how it is, and it just that's like the part that does suck. Yeah, it's like that.
No, I mean, from my standpoint, like even with that, I understand it's a business, but like for me and Baylor, like I had 4 different receiver coaches.
Wow.
Each year, each year.
His DB coach went to Baylor too.
Yeah, Dwayne Crawford, he played safety there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was. That's actually how I got recruited. I went to a Baylor camp. He was there, and then he was like, "Oh, at the time he was a safeties coach of Wyoming."
Yeah,
and he was like, "Oh, like your measurables, stats are good." He's like, "You're just a little undersized," but he was like, "You can come play with me for Lewis. I'm about to take his job." Right. And I look at his like credentials, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm not going D1, but I'm gonna learn from this person. Like it's the same thing. I'm gonna just go with him." Yeah. But yeah, side note, but no, it is crazy like the business aspect of it too, because I mean, I'm sure like you're getting recruited, they're telling you, "Oh, we're gonna have you, do this." They're gonna tell you how they're gonna use you in offense or whatever. And then you get there, obviously you had got hurt and stuff, but even then you're kind of like, well, injuries are part of the game, but you're like, all right, well, are they gonna fulfill some of these promises? Like I'm coming here, I'm highly touted, I'm highly rated, I'm talented, you work hard, but then it's just like you said, you just become. It's very easy to get lost in that shuffle. Like if you don't make that immediate impact, then they're just already looking at the next class. And now with the portal, it's just like people are just getting unshelved. Like I'm sure we'll talk about it too. Like you're about to go to CU, and like their roster is completely different now. So
whole different ball.
It's crazy.
You tore your ACL?
Yeah.
It's the All-American Games December, January.
January 5th.
January 5th. So it's a 6-month.
Shoot,
6-month injury.
It was it was probably a full 9, honestly. 9? Yeah, I started before because I mean they weren't really tripping. I really wasn't either because I knew I wasn't gonna play at least half of the season, and I knew I was still young. Like we still had guys up there that were studs at the time. Like we had Denzel Mims, we had Tyquan Thornton. Like I had guys in the league right now. So I mean, I wasn't tripping, but because you ultimately can pull out that red shirt, and I mean that's what I did. Yeah. So it was just. It's a tough time.
You pulled out a regular redshirt or medical?
Medical.
Medical.
That was medical. Yeah.
Is you could still pull out a redshirt at that point, right?
Yeah, I did COVID. Wait, so if we go off the timeline, it was medical, COVID year, got that year back. Junior year, I think I appeared in enough games to not get my red shirt. So so right now I'm a true junior or redshirt junior.
Redshirt junior.
Yeah. So that's 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So go on your official, take Baylor commit, offer, whatnot. You get there, and then what is life like as a D1 athlete? Like once you're there, I guess obviously you're recovering and have to probably go through the training and whatnot. But like once you're good to go, like what is life as a D1 player like?
I mean, for the most part, I mean it's a lot of people wouldn't think it's what it is, and there's ups and downs. Like there's two sides of it. There's a great side and there's a hell side. Like you see the posts on social medias, you see the hard work, the wins or whatever, but you don't see what's behind the scenes. Like you don't see what it took to get here. Like mentally, like I think if you played ball at the college level, like your mental goes to a different standpoint than others. Like you'll go to a place where you'll never even think you could really get into, and sometimes you'll be doing it because you don't even know. Like it's just inbred into you because the pace and what's expected of you in college. Like your body can withstand like a lot. You just got to tap into it, and it just took the right staff for a lot of people too, and it just takes a wake up call. So I mean, when you get to that D1 level, the training, what I do, what you do, and what he does is all the same. It's just how we do it. You might be bigger, I might be faster, you might be stronger, but we're all doing the same exact work. So regardless, walk on scholarship, 6'5" guy, 5'7" guy, we're all doing the same exact thing. So the ones on the field are just the ones getting glorified, but the ones even on the side, it's the same exact thing. The work doesn't change.
Yeah, so like tapping into like the mental of, being at a D1 level, the work is still the same. I guess, how did you go from like managing, obviously playing at a Power 5 school, a good Power 5 school, and being so close to home? Like, was there distractions, or have you always been like level-headed and just very focused?
Very focused for the most part. I went to Baylor to get away without getting away. So, I mean, it was kind of like a thing in my back pocket where it's like, oh, I get a free weekend. All right, I'm going to go enjoy the house. But when it comes to, like, how you manage yourself, you really don't figure that out until you're in the heat of it. Like, you go in your freshman year, summer's fine. You see your first fall camp. They're like, ugh. Then, like, you don't understand. Then
it's ridiculous.
Then you got a whole nother, you don't know what your first off season's like. Like, all that sucks. Like, and people, once you get acclimated to that, and I honestly think that takes about a year and a half, maybe two, to really grasp what to put yourself in that mindset to understand, like, oh, this is how my body's going to feel at this time. It's a lot, though. Mental-wise, like, we all struggle. No matter what, your starting quarterback, you're going to struggle. Your third string left tackle, you're going to struggle. Like, it takes a toll on everybody, like, especially for me. Like I said, I wasn't playing for a time, and I went into a dark place, like, just like many athletes do. Like, that's why I'm big on, like, encouraging just to talk. Like, my role on a team is always try to just kind of, like, be a brother to one another. Like, I feel you. Like, if we're going to be in this, it sucks for both of us. We're going to do it together.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's
but
hard.
I got you. You got me. Let's do it.
I mean, luckily you're quote unquote home.
Yeah.
I mean, you got guys from out of state that's just like miles and miles away. Because I mean, when he went to where he went, one of the guys we had on, he was a DB with him. He said his first fall camp, he would just the guy never showed up or something like that. So he had just the room to himself.
roommate,
His roommate never showed up, so he had a room to himself. He'd just be crying, just like depressed, didn't want to do it no more, want to go home.
That's how things were. Like, I had a girlfriend at the time for my last fall camp, and even with her around, like, she could never understand what was going through my head. Like, even I would tell her things, and I would try to let her understand me, but
that's the dark side of football nobody ever talks about.
Yeah.
Well, just sports in general. Any sport.
I felt like this in baseball. Not to this extent, but yeah, I definitely, like, sports takes a toll mentally. The coaches, all of it, grades, all of it comes together. And yeah, when you go pro, that might be cool, but it was already 1% to get to college, and now the percentage is only lower to get to the league.
Way lower.
How much free time do you? Because he didn't really have much free time, and
until the
D2, D1 is kind of the same thing, but it's like how much free time did you have besides like off season, but like fall camp, regular season? None.
Yeah. If you say fall camp, no.
Because this fall camp was stupid.
No, 7:15 in the morning to 9 at night.
Yep.
Like
every day, like Sunday included.
You get Wednesday off. Like
Yeah.
that's the randomest day in the world too. And that Wednesday's not off. That Wednesday's meeting, weights, walkthrough. Now you're done. And that's still at 5.
What's crazy is they had changed fall camp too, like, because I'm a little bit older than you. When we went, they like my first fall camp, like 2 days was still like a thing. Like they could still like practice. Like you could do practice one day, and then the next day you would double up practice in the morning, chill, and then practice in the afternoon. And like the DBs, legs getting tired. Like Coach Crawford's like, oh, y'all getting aired out. We're like, bruh, like we have no legs, the next day. Sure. And then the next year they changed it to like just the one a day. And I was like, bro, like you don't understand. Like
that's a blessing.
I've never done 2 days. Like, they talk about it in like Friday Night Lights and stuff. And it's like,
but you never had to really
like
see
really
it,
done
like,
it. And it's like, bro, practicing twice, like it's not it.
Especially in like, I don't know if you've like gone yet, but he would go early to get acclimated. Because he was in Colorado as well. So he would go and get acclimated. But like people who don't go early, don't get acclimated doing those 2 days.
That's what I'm scared of right now. Like I already know. Like I seen one dude, Florida boy, throwing up first workout, and I'm like, it doesn't matter what condition I think I could be in. I don't think it can help for this altitude that I'm about to face.
You're in Boulder, right?
Yeah,
they're in Boulder.
Yeah, because I would imagine on y'all's free time, all y'all want to do is probably like just sleep or just rest.
Yeah, back to that. There's no free time. Like I said, I mentioned a fall camp, but like even if I were to go mention my school day, it would be weights at 7:30. I gotta squeeze breakfast in there, 9:30, 10. Then I gotta go to class. My 2 classes, I got 10 to 12:30, 12:30 to 1:30. I got meetings starting at 2:15. Got to get taped already by 1:50 in my chair by 1:55. Like it's all, and then from 2:15 to 6, I'm locked in, and that's just a normal practice day. Like that's in season, and that's without film.
Yeah,
that's without all that. Like so, I wasn't going home till I got my one little 30-minute break between the day, maybe around noon. And I'm nope.
He would call me like in between like school day, and he'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "About to go watch film." Yeah. And it's like 10:30 in the morning. I'm like, "Bro, any like." Because if you're not doing that stuff, like you'll be like, oh, I can just do it when it's like, mandatory. No. If you're not doing like the extra stuff, your coach will be like, oh, well, so-and-so behind you or in front of you is watching this amount of film. You're not watching tape. So I'm going to just put them on the field because they're just in here more. They just know.
Another guy we had on, he's a music artist now. His name's Difference. But he played at Tech with Baker.
Yeah.
And he was Baker's roommate.
That's wild.
And he said that everybody would always go out.
Yeah.
Baker would just stay in, and he'll be going to sleep at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Yeah. But that whole time he was just studying the playbook, watching film.
But that's why Baker's where he's at. Yep. And it's like you see the separation, and it's like it's all hard, but at this level, you see him doing what he's doing. Like he's not going out. He's up at 2 and 3. He's probably in his playbook. Truly, like being a quarterback. Shit, I can only imagine. Like me,
especially like being a walk-on, and him as a person, he has chipped on his shoulder.
Yeah. Like the arrogant little thing from Lake Travis, like nobody probably expected him to do that exactly, but I mean he did it. And I mean clearly it sounds like he put in the hours to do it. And like you always, like I said, you're gonna separate the ones that really want it versus who don't. But I mean for the most part, when it comes to like his case, walk on, like he had to do what he had to do to get where he wanted.
How was it playing for Matt Rhule?
I mean. Playing technically didn't get to do, but being under him, I guess. Being under him for a year, like he was exactly what he said. Like through recruiting, he recruited me at 1-11. He turned up 7-5 the next year in the Sugar Bowl my freshman year. Like he got progressively better, and then more kids he recruited. It was the first year of Coach Randall, but I mean, those dudes won the Big 12. Like they all panned out well. Like they were all hard nosed, smash mouth guys, and you can see that truly. Like. So that was it. Being under him was cool, but I really didn't get too much. I got 5-6 months. I got a season's worth, and then he was out. Yeah. But other than that, like he was a crazy man. Yeah. He was a crazy man. He 1 second I love you, and 1 second you don't know what you're gonna get from him. So it was really up and down. But I guess that's the game of college football, and each coach has its own tactics, and his worked for sure.
Yeah, and he went to the NFL, so it's also like it just sucks for coaches because it's like you're doing good, you're gonna get looked at by other schools, and if not NFL as well. And that's during the season as well. So you're probably talking to other schools and then still trying to coach. So your mind's here, 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 and here. And then on the other side, the bad side is you're doing bad, and you're just like, damn. If I don't do better, I'm gonna get fired. If I don't fire this offense coordinator, they're gonna let me go. Just stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's like the other bad side about like being a coach too.
That's why it sucks, but I mean, it's like when you're Coach Rhule and you hear, oh, they're gonna buy out my contract and they're gonna give me this.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a
exactly.
lot harder to say that.
It's like, dang, and it's just, and then you're getting guaranteed money. So even if it flops in the league, like you still get
got
paid
paid.
out.
yeah, I'm not really mad.
And
like
then
I
you go to
said,
Nebraska and get paid again.
yeah, like if it was me, am I mad at my? No, like I'm proud of you. Do what
Yeah.
you got to do. It's
Yeah.
a business ultimately. So
How is that as for players? like some people will you're just there and he's your coach, and then it's like, damn, now you're just like leaving. Obviously, you can't be mad at them, but it's just also at the same time it sucks.
it sucks truly because like what it took from recruiting me, like it was 3 years recruiting, sophomore, junior, senior, of just recruiting me, and then 6 months, and then you're gone. It wasn't bad because it's like I didn't understand that, and then it just hurt because of the fact that like we've been in contact, like I said, for 3 years now, and it's like you said, these promises, these things we're telling you, like, oh, we're gonna do this, you're gonna do this with me, we're gonna do this, and then there's no we after 6 months. It sucks. It probably sucks for him too. Like you told these kids, like as a man, like you probably promised a lot of these kids certain things. It's just like the situation for you is probably better over there. Like, can I be mad? No. Am I understanding? Yeah. But it does in the back of your heart. It kind of just feels some way, especially when you're just coming in and you think that's like that's just essentially why they tell you like you can't commit for a coach. And it took a lot to understand that, but it made sense right when I got to college. Like I heard that all before in the recruiting process, but then it opened like my eyes right then and there. So that's kind of how it was for me.
Do you still talk to him today?
No. He keeps up with me though.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I
That's
see
dope.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like I committed to Colorado. He was one of the first people to like retweet it. Like I'm like, oh shit,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it's
that's
cool. Like
dope.
he shows, he
that's
still
fire.
shows love of, like the kids he worked with. So that's cool. That whole staff is still the same staff that was over at Baylor. So I know all those guys. So I'm looking forward to playing them when we get the
Yeah,
chance.
y'all do play them. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I guess spend like your time at Baylor. I remember watching y'all were playing in Norman, and you caught like a deep ball on the sideline, and then they were like, "Oh, Jaylen Ellis." I was like, "Oh, I like heard of him. He's from Austin."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's dope." Like, he's catching a pass in Norman. You know, like big college football atmosphere. I guess was that like because I know you said you had played in like other games before, but I guess was that like your I'm like I've arrived moment.
Honestly, yeah, because it was that game. That was COVID.
Yeah.
So this is my first year back, really, and everything's cool. Taekwon goes down with a concussion. Another receiver goes out with a concussion, and we needed an outside. So for Taekwon, I stepped up, and I go out there, and it's kind of I really wasn't fundamentally sound exactly at the moment. Like I didn't like if you go watch it, I don't feel like it was a good anything, but I just made the catch, and everybody kind of looked at the sideline, looked at me, and it's kind of like, oh, you can do this. Like, we didn't know. Like, because you put so much faith in your first four or first three guys out there. And, I mean, when you see something new take off, like I said, you just got to put people put them in the heat. Like, you got to let them have that moment. And it almost felt like nothing different than high school. Like, the game's just faster. But when you're fast, you use that to your advantage. And you realize, like, that's one thing, like, I had to learn, like, oh, this is my blessing. This is my advantage. Like, you can't teach speed. You can't coach it. I can't make you faster if I want to. So if you use it, just use it. So I did it in that same moment. And it felt good because it was like, it just showed me that I could do it, especially against a school like OU. The talent they had over there at the time. Like, they brought in 5-star quarterback Spencer. So, like, I'm seeing all guys I know. And it was a real cool moment. Surreal, actually. But there's always one catch that I'll do.
Is that the year you had the worst defense?
I'm not sure because I know your class is 2019, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know like that class had like Trajan, Hazelwood, like all those guys.
Weiss, Trajan, Spence came in there. 32 on defense.
Stogner, the tight end.
Criddle.
Yeah, Criddle.
Stog was a dog, man.
Yeah.
Love Stog.
Yeah. So like all those guys, I guess, and then fast forward, you score in DKR.
Yeah.
what year was that? Was that last year?
That was this past year.
This past season? Yeah. You score in DKR, and it's just like, how's that feel? Like full circle, like you catch a touchdown in DKR, like on the road, home. You know, I'm pretty sure you had a ton of family there. Like, how did that feel?
So with football, you know how it goes. Like you being in a college, like everything's scripted. Like so by Tuesday, I knew I was scoring a touchdown. Like I just had to make the catch. So I text my parents, I text my family. I'm like, I'm scoring. Like I'm scoring at DKR. It's gonna happen. So I already had it planned. We repped it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, walk 3 days. So it was already green. I won it multiple times, and I was like, okay, cool. But like, I think that's the best true top 3 feeling for me ever. My first was probably now that I did it, graduated. That was probably my first. But then, like, from an athletic standpoint, I don't think I cried on the sideline after.
Yeah.
Like, it was just every emotional thing. Like, 5-year-old me wanted to play here, thinking this is cool. And, like, I really did it. Like, I lived every dream that I probably wanted to and other kids probably wanted to, like, being from this area. So, I mean, it was really cool. Seeing, like, all guys from high school, people from different places coming down, like, oh, I saw you playing, I saw you score, so that felt good for me.
What was it like? Well, I guess what it had been like playing in the Big 12?
It was really cool. I mean, from that, I don't even know how to. You see, football's football ultimately. Like Big 12, like the only conference I feel like there's a real game changer, and we saw them when we went to different bowls, or actually the bowl is the SEC. Those boys are big, like they're really big, and I don't know what about it, but I feel like all balls are the same. We got big guys. I feel like we're a lot faster, but ultimately, I think the Big 12 is a great place to go offensively. Like you have,
it's an offensive,
it's an
conference for
sure. Yeah, like I think we all know that, but it was cool. I can't complain. I hated seeing certain schools. I would hate seeing Texas. I hated seeing Kansas State because of Deuce. Like there was just. And it's what sucks was that I knew Deuce was gonna do what he did every time. Yeah. It's like as much I'm on this sideline.
Just a quiet dude that just pop off on you.
Oh my god! It's like being like I'm on the sideline. It's like I see him motion in number 3, and it's like I can tell you what's gonna happen. Like he's gonna run a slide on that Mike linebacker just because he can't stop me. So it's like you see certain things and you see it year after year, and it's like as a player you can see kind of what's going on, but it's like sometimes you don't really grasp as a team together. But I mean it's okay ultimately. So I had fun. Ups and downs. Got a Big 12 ring, went to 2 Big 12s, and I mean, ultimately, I think it was cool.
Yeah, because I mean, you get to play at Texas, great atmosphere. At Oklahoma, great atmosphere. I mean, it fucking probably sucks because the fans are right there, right?
OSU is bad. Yeah, right behind you. You hear everything,
bro. And then at Oklahoma, did you play at Oklahoma State? Yeah, at Oklahoma State, their fans are crazy. At Tech, their fans are crazy. So you got to play in some like cool ass atmospheres.
Yeah, I don't even know when I look at it like that. I don't know what my favorite place to play with. Probably Texas at this point because it's just the burnt orange. I didn't want to do it, but I didn't realize how many people were still at that game ultimately, and there was about 90,000. I've never seen 90,000 in the Big 12 like that until I got there. So it was cool. It was a shocker, but I would say if I had to like pick and look back, I think OU's my favorite stadium.
TCU too.
Yeah, TCU gives more space, but OU, I don't know what about it. It goes straight up, and they're right behind you.
They're right behind you. You
so,
see it on TV. They're just bench crowd.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my god. But Oklahoma State's no better. They're really on you, and they
got those
paddles. They're just working, man. Like I don't know what they got going on, but Baylor, we had a nice little clean stadium, I would say.
Yeah.
Like I felt like we had the cleanest stadium in the Big 12.
Yeah. It's the newest.
McLean,
newest. We just sent a picture in a group chat the other day. Y'all season ticket holders are the most.
Y'all's are the most expensive.
That shocks me.
I don't know how accurate that is, but
it's probably because just how expensive the stadium was. That's the only thing that I would have guessed.
It's really nice. It's not my favorite by any means, but it's definitely nice.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
really clean, really neat. I just don't like the horseshoe.
5 years old, 6 years old.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, not
like
super. Yeah, no, that's older than
that.
Oh
yeah, no, because 5 years ago I was in college.
It came out in like
14,
15, because that crazy TCU Baylor game happened there. The one where it was like 60 to
63, 60, whatever.
That crazy game.
Yeah,
that happened there.
Oh, with
Boykin.
Yeah, Boykin. Yeah.
Bryce Petty.
Yeah.
I guess so. You graduate. Would you graduate with? Would you study
kinesiology?
Okay, so you graduate with kinesiology degree, and then you decided to enter the transfer portal, and then you committed to West Virginia first, and you flipped to Colorado. I guess take us through your process of entering the portal. Why'd you pick West Virginia at first, and then what ultimately led you to CU and going there?
Well, this one was easy. So I knew as an older guy, well, 22, I'm not a kid no more. I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know I'm graduated. I really don't got to look at school as much. I kind of just looking for exactly what I want. So when I was going, I entered the portal. It's probably like a Monday. I enter on like a Monday, and your name officially doesn't go until the next midnight. So I'm like, okay, cool. And at 7 in the morning, I'm talking to coaches already. I'm talking to Texas State. I'm talking to Auburn. I'm talking to whatever. And honestly, I think I talked to more schools in that one day than I probably did in high school in the long run. Like, just the amount of schools, and it ranged. Like, I didn't know my ceiling, but it ranged from Texas State to Colorado, and I didn't know. It just progressively got bigger every time. So I was trying to set up visits already. I was trying to make it quick and easy. Like, I didn't want to do all 5 visits. I didn't want to do I didn't want to just waste my time with school. So I appreciate the chance, but I'm locked in. I'm already focused on these schools. So I try to make it as mature as possible. And what brought me to West Virginia, they showed interest in me, and they had an exact role of what they wanted me to do. And I thought that was great. Like, I loved everything about it, but it's just like, Brian called. Like, you just got to pick up that phone. So it's just like, I was late, and I thought I loved West Virginia. So I committed. I wanted to secure my spot. I wanted to go down there, be a guy. I wanted to wear one. I wanted to feel like Tavon Ross. I wanted to do it all. Like, it all was like a surreal moment. Like, I got to put that jersey on, feel like that. But just when you come to opportunity, where do you think you'll have, like, the better chance?
Yeah.
And, I mean, when you break it down to people like that, I think they understand a lot more.
At this point, are you still, obviously you're going to compete, but, like, do you take that into, like, account? Because West Virginia's predicted to, them and Houston are predicted to do the worst in the Big 12 this year. Like, do you see that and be like, I want to go somewhere where I compete, play for some bowls, play for possible conference chip, stuff like that?
I mean, now that I've seen it and I've got it, like, I've been to 2 New Year's Six bowls at Baylor. Like, I went to the Sugar Bowl twice. I got a ring. I lost one. But it doesn't play a factor because this year I kind of wanted it. Of course, I wanted it to be a team thing, but I kind of left Baylor to give myself an opportunity. So I'm not really worried about bowl games and all that. I mean, it's cool. If it comes, it comes. That comes with winning. Like, of course, I want to win. But I just want to kind of prove myself right. And, like, I transferred for a reason to kind of work on myself and do what I can do. But, like, ultimately, I want all that. I want the glitz and the glam, but I'm kind of here to just do what I got to do what I got to do to help the team win. So, Sugar Bowls, I mean, it was cool. A New Year's Six Bowl, one of the best bowls you can get. It just, after you do it, you're just kind of like, all right, it's done. You live your couple days in New Orleans. You practice the same exact way. Like, nothing's changing. And you just do a couple activities. So it's really cool. It's really a blessing. Like, it's cool that you got to experience that. But now I did it twice. How many other bowl games can beat that, technically, outside of the national championship or Fiesta, another New Year's Six Bowl? Like, I've already kind of seen the top. So that's kind of not my focus. But I've also seen the bottom when it comes to bowl games. Like, I was in the Armed Forces Bowl playing in -4-degree weather against Air Force in Fort Worth. Like, that hurt, but it was all fun. It was all worth it. It was an experience.
It would have been like that in Morgantown.
Oh, man. It's going to be like that in Boulder.
Well, it's going to be like that in Boulder, too. One of my homies went to West Virginia, but he played baseball.
Bro?
Yeah. Nice. He liked Morgantown. He said it was a wild place.
No, it was a wild place. I liked it. I had a fun time. I mean, I'm not into probably what he was talking about. But
it's kind of different because it's like
it's a true college.
You play football, so like you have to go suit up for the game. He played baseball, so he got to go to the football games, and it's like everybody's gonna get ready for a football game, but like nobody's gonna go get ready for a baseball game.
Right. Especially at the college level.
Because their thing is what they light couches on fire after the winds or whatever, and throw them in the street or something like that. But yeah, he played baseball in there. He said he loved it.
It's definitely a town. Morgantown's definitely a wild place, and I got a night there, 2 nights there, and that's all I needed to see. I mean, I had fun. All the extracurricular things I'm not really a fan of now that I'm older. I mean,
just outgrowing it and focused and whatnot.
I got it out the way, but I mean, of course, I wanted to. You got to see it at some point. So, of course, I would take the time, but it's like that wasn't my main focus.
When y'all go on officials, does the school pay for that?
Yeah. Everything.
They pay
for everything.
Everything. I guess they you stay with somebody.
Literally, you will never have to pull your wallet out.
Yeah.
Time.
Hotel,
like,
all that.
Hotel,
like,
food.
Everything's
like, if I could pull up pictures from my visit, I will. Like, my bed's laid out with a big ass picture of me or snacks, my favorite Gatorades, like
that's fire.
Chauffeurs from the airport, like it's all
that's fire.
I showed him like this TikTok of this dude that went to the North Carolina like official visit.
Oh yeah.
I just saw that. Yeah, you seen it? It's like a whole day in life kind of deal.
So now you're going to Colorado. You've been in college football where there's no money, nothing. You probably can I get $20, Mom? Can I get $20, Dad?
Yeah.
Now you got the NIL.
Yeah.
But you also have the middle where it's just like you hear it and like, all right, let's have this happen. What has life? Well, I guess this should be your second season, right? At NIL.
Yeah.
What has life been like since NIL? So if you're not like the Caleb Williams, the Quinn Ewers, people like those that are getting these $1 million deals,
Right.
is there like a set income that each athlete has? Anyways, or just if like a lineman, if nobody's buying your shit or you don't have any deals, you have no money.
It just depends ultimately on who you are. So you're Caleb Williams, you're booming, but your receiver might not be. I mean, you could be just because you're good at SC. The alumni is probably getting all right, but like so far as like other places, so there's places like Tech who got like a team NIL deal for like 25, so they all get 25 like year round. I'm pretty sure it's like most other places, like they break it down through like your stipend. So your normal little stipend, whatever you get, $1,200, that's for your rent or whatever. They'll probably throw in an extra $2 on top of that. So it might be coming in like waves, but I mean that's how some teams work. But then there's other teams who don't got a team NIL deal. So QB1 over there has 60 bands, but O-line receivers, nobody else. We're just living off our stipends. I mean, you can do like I love it because like I have friends who come from nothing. Like, I literally have friends from, like, nothing who either were sending some of their stipends back home to help family. Like, that sucks. Like, I didn't want to – it's not a good thing. I mean, it's cool, but it's just, like, it just sucks because that's pocket change that we get. We don't get too much. Like, you got to pay your $700 rent, and you gotta send some money home for the bills. Like, you're living off of nothing. So, I mean, I love it for the guys that have that, but, like, I'm not one of those guys where it's like I never had nothing. Like, I'll make work with what I got. So it's cool. But I think it also does change the aspect of college football because if you can't give me 50,000 OU, I can go get 75 at Texas or that's what kids are looking at now. Like it's not crazy.
It was kind of weird for me because like at the beginning I was like for it in a way, and then I wasn't because I mean I didn't play college football, so like obviously I don't see the ins and outs of it. But like I was like, bro, y'all get your school paid for, y'all get all these meals already from like if you're in the athletic department. Before NIL, you still get free shit under the table, stuff like that. I'm like, y'all don't need to be paid, but at the same time, just like it is a full-time job, and then you still got to go to school and get good grades. That's another full-time job, so it's like, and you barely have any free time. But then now I see just you got Quinn making millions, Caleb making millions, that quarterback that's under Miami, he signed for like $8 million, and I'm just like. It just for me, it just kind of ruins like
the true aspect of college football.
Yeah,
I feel
finding the diamond in the rough.
I'm fine with it, but I just also think there should be like a cap. Like someone can only make 200,000. Like I mean, you just look at people like Johnny Manziel. That man won the Heisman. Well, he 17 years old, hanging out with Drake, Justin Bieber, all of that, and your life just changes, and you're just. You're young, so you don't know how to handle it. And it's the same thing. I also see it as like you're young, you have all this money, you don't know how to handle it. And at the same time, you also have I feel like you also have a target on your back. Like somebody sees you, like somebody sees Quinn downtown. They know how much money Quinn has.
We can make
so they're
like,
so like, hey, let's go after him. So I just feel like there should be like some kind of like the most you can make is like $100K.
No, I mean,
like
I feel
that
you.
year.
I feel it 100%. I love that. And I love the guys that are big enough, like you said, Johnny Manziel. Imagine what he could get if he was in NIL.
Bro, if he was an NIL, it would probably the
Especially
biggest deal.
And A&M, like,
Bro, Johnny football, that shit would have went
and
stupid.
Kyle-
He literally built Kyle Field.
Kyle Field was him. Like, that.
literally.
Imagine. So he probably would have been Caleb Williams, but more, probably. Ultimately, like, he was already making bread without it. So, like, imagine. But it was, like you said, the tradition of, like, college football and how it works, it's a whole different ball game. Like, now you probably couldn't even tell a kid to consider the smaller school because they can't compete because, at least the other school's giving me $25,000. Like,
Yeah.
It sucks, but I mean, I live for it. I love it because it's a different ball game.
Yeah, because now it's like you're not going for the school or for the coach. You're going for the money.
You're going for I mean, on top of that, I mean, it all adds up. But I mean, when you got powerhouses like these two schools right here, you got OU, Texas. Now it's like we both want the same kid right in the middle, so we got to do what we got to do.
And it just sucks too because it's like OU has a lot of money, but Texas has they're always one and two
money,
and money between them and A&M, and then on top of that are donors. It's like you can't compete. You
can't
so
like
like
Miami that just have billionaire people all around. Like
so it's just like you just can't compete.
You can't. But it's just like, also, are you going to build your program? Do you think these kids are going to come and be a championship caliber program in the next couple of years?
And then how does it work if a kid doesn't pan out?
That's what I don't know. I have questions about. Like, I think I've seen people like transfer after they got to that school after they're being promised something. And
It's
then
like
leave.
give it back.
I don't know.
What?
Yeah, I don't know how that works exactly if you don't pan out.
I wonder if they like. There's probably different. Like people probably get paid all up front, or they probably get like broken up like in payments, or it's like, oh, you're freshman All-American, you're all conference as a freshman or whatever. Like, oh, you get
like incentives.
incentives like a
yeah.
contract. I feel like that's probably the way like it needs to go because, I mean, we see it all the time. There's always guys that highly recruited and don't really do much. So it's like you got to kind of like
Rhule McCoy.
Yeah. Well, he's doing
That's
good.
the first one.
Is that the one at Tennessee now? Yeah,
He was at Texas, then he went to USC.
He was good
then
last.
Texas.
Yeah, he was good last year though
Yeah.
at Tennessee.
I was like, he turned up at Tennessee.
Yeah, he
though.
turned
Yeah,
up,
he was. Yeah, I mean,
He's
they're
good
just
last year.
good.
Yeah.
Well, it was easy for him because number 11 would just
Hyatt or
yeah,
Wyatt. or
motherfucker just
Hyatt,
run down the field and just
somebody
free
over
up.
the top.
Yeah,
Free you under.
yeah, it's like,
That's how
bro.
the
Yeah.
game goes.
That was just the first one that came to mind. But
Yeah.
there's people like that. But like if Bijan, if he would have transferred out, would he have to get that Lamborghini back?
Yeah.
Like,
It's like all that stuff. It's,
Yeah.
I think that does come with it. Ultimately, like, I don't think the portal, like, all that Lamborghini deal. I don't know how it works. I can't speak on it, but like, I would assume if I had to guess, like, your deals are probably cut because you're not with that school no more.
How has NIL been for you, if you don't mind me asking, or if you can even talk about it?
It's cool. It's really cool. I do like social media and stuff on the side, so that kind of helps. Like,
and
just
stuff,
little stuff. But then, like, when I get to see you, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do y'all have like an NIL deal, like a school? Do y'all get like a base pay?
Yeah, I think there is one that they said you'll get an extra couple dollars on top of your stipend just based as a team.
No, you're good.
You're good.
Good hands.
Yeah. Across the team, like I think there's a couple extra dollars they'll get, like at how I spoke on Tech, how they do like a team deal. But outside of that, personally, like I don't know how well it'll go. But I know, like, even the price of living in Colorado is way more expensive than Waco, Texas, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess getting to Colorado, you're gonna be playing with Deion Sanders at QB, and then you're gonna be going against Travis Hunter in practice. He'll be playing obviously on the other side with you too, and then they got Carmani McLean also committed there, so you're gonna have some good competition in fall camp. I guess what are your expectations going up there, and I guess some goals for the season coming up?
Just compete, go for a spot, do what I do. No different than any competitor at this point. Yeah, like we all get the same goals. So I mean, it's just outwork another, and I think that's where I'll probably stand out. Like, will it take a second? Probably to just get acclimated, of course.
Yeah.
But I know ultimately I'm not there to party. I'm not there to have fun. I'm there
on a mission.
I'm there for 6-7 months. Try to go chase the goal everybody has. So I mean, it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to the competition. Just the talent that you just named alone, like those are studs. And I've contacted Shador. We've talked. Cormani, right? His name? Yeah. So I talked to him on FaceTime before I even committed, went on my visit. Cool guy. So I'm excited. I love competition. I love getting better. Iron sharpens iron, and that's how we move about it.
Yeah.
You excited to play for prime time?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I had to say one person who's more excited, it's probably my dad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
Yeah, like I don't even.
I mean,
think,
that growing up, that's who he was watching.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I understand it. Like I took my visit, so I took my West Virginia visit with my 2 of my buddies. Because I was like, I already know what I'm looking for. I don't need my parents. But then when I told them Colorado, I gotta go. So I'm like, all right. And then we ended up taking a picture. Like he's smiling so hard in that picture.
That was cheesing.
Yeah, I'm like, you didn't even take a picture like that with me. But nah, I was excited. I'm excited to be with Prime. Like you said, that's more his time. But
Yeah. Your dad a
we
Cowboy
all-
fan?
no,
No.
my dad's a Raider fan, but everybody's a Prime fan.
Yeah.
So I'm excited just because like I love the swag he has about him. Like it's you could say it's arrogant, but he's doing that because that's his tactic. That's what he does. Like
That's all.
always
That's also how he built the name Primetime.
yeah. I was like nothing seemed to change from when he's an athlete. He might have toned down, got a little more adult like, but I mean other than that, his game's the same.
And like, I hope everything is well with him. But like all the stuff he's been having health wise, like that ain't changed him either.
No.
That boy
He
rolling
hasn't
around
slowed down.
in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah, still yelling at your ass.
yeah, he
And
will.
that the cool thing about it too is that's gonna trickle down for y'all, like the swagger. Like Colorado, like right now, from the national media has like a target on their back because the way Prime's doing things. The other coaches, in a sense, or in my opinion, from what I'm seeing as an outsider, they look a little envious because they're like, oh, like he goes from Jackson State to Colorado and he's able to recruit these kids because of who he is and like the persona and stuff he's built. And you can just kind of tell these coaches because it's like all from anonymous sources. They're like, oh, like, can you flip a roster like that, whatever. But at the same time, he's there to do a job. Yeah. And he said he was going to flip the roster, and that's what he's doing. So it's going to be cool to see what y'all do. And I'm super excited, like just meeting you and you're from here. Like we both grew up playing the same type of people, same area, playing against each other, you know. So it's going to be cool to see you ball out there. And then y'all got some good games on the schedule. Like y'all got Nebraska.
We don't
TCU.
have any non-Power 5 games.
Yeah.
Like if you look at our conference, it's TCU, Nebraska, Oregon. Like we're
That's what I'm saying. The first game, literally.
Yeah, like we're not slowing down. And I look at like shoot at Baylor, I would play even Texas State or I'll play SFA.
Yeah.
We're not doing that here.
Yeah.
Like, we're playing.
You're getting right to it.
That's
Yeah,
like
we're
the-
going straight
That's
to
like the bad, I guess, the negative of like not being a quote unquote good school. You don't just get those 2 little kick games at the beginning of the year that is easy.
Yeah, you don't get no leeway. You don't get no 2-0 start.
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah,
you want it
fine
off
from
rip.
the-
Yeah,
yeah.
we play the runner up.
The runner-up,
Off rip.
off rip.
Off
Yeah.
rip.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
There too, y'all go to Fort Worth.
we're gonna be in Fort Worth.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like they show us like they're like, oh, like that was one of Prime's first messages. He's like, you know whose games are already sold out? It's ours. Like that already. And when I took my visit in May, like they're already being every game sold out type deal.
The spring game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's people want to see what's gonna happen. Like
Yeah.
people either want to see you lose or they want to see you win. So it's no in between. And it's a big target on your back. Like even when you're getting recruited by other schools, you know you don't gotta. They'll do what they try to do, talk you out of it, but they just ultimately couldn't. It was just too much.
And I mean, even then, it's kind of hard too because you don't know what you're gonna get at TCU. Like, yeah, they're the runner up, but like they just lost their best player that
Trust me, I
basically
know.
took them there.
I know. I know. I played against that team for 3 or 4 years.
I mean, but Sonny isn't just gonna put no bum out there. So.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
Sonny, I like Sonny.
Chandler Morris would be their guy there.
Well,
He's a
they haven't
stud.
even listed him as a starter yet, or even said he's a starter. So that's why the other thing is people were talking about. They don't even know if he's gonna be the starting QB or
Who
not.
else?
I think he will.
I
for
think
sure.
he will. He's
I
a
think he
stud.
will.
I mean,
But
he beat Max out last year, which is crazy to think about.
You remember that game he came in?
Yeah,
first
yeah,
game?
against
Like,
Colorado.
Yeah.
Like, he came in,
And
turned
he
up.
was turning up, and then he just got hurt.
Yeah.
Like, so
No, he's a
And Max
stud.
flipped the switch.
And Dykes is a stud too. Like he recruited me at SMU. Yeah, and like I liked what he was
It's
talking.
another
about.
good
Just-
school.
Yeah,
Like they're a small school, but they're like going back to earlier. They're a small school that can compete, but they don't have the money that these other schools are gonna get.
SMU does.
they have the money.
They have the
It's
money,
got-
but it's just like a
is it
smaller
go-
school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's a
just
smaller school.
Yeah,
that's
it's a
just
smaller,
like that.
and then I think they need to move conferences, but
They do.
Yeah, they get in the Big 12.
They're probably gonna go to the Big 12 or something.
Because
Like
they got to
that.
get a, what are they? ACC or
American.
All American?
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to get out of there. Like they've been hooping these past couple years.
Yeah.
Like they need to go up. I think they should.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. I mean,
AJ, this is off topic, but AJ said that he's his brother's wide receiver won at Tulsa.
Yeah, you know who the receiver coach is there?
Yeah, it's your boy. Yeah, Ryan Switzer.
That was my boy.
He hit me. Yeah,
Really?
He's the one that recruited me.
Yeah,
he
bro,
hit me up.
That was my favorite. Like when I was in high school, like that was my favorite like offensive player to watch.
Man,
bro.
what? It was all of ours.
Bro.
Like, he was one of them.
Bro, he was cold.
I saw. I ain't
And
gonna
then
lie.
he
I
was
saw
in North Carolina, baby.
You saw like
on Twitter. I saw Switz follow you, and I was like, I know that name.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool because
Yeah.
like this is like him, Tavon.
Yeah.
Those were my guys. Like,
bro, he almost broke the NCAA punt return record his freshman
was gonna
year
say, it's a PR
at North
record,
Carolina.
yeah.
Bro, I'm like, and I showed him. I was like, bro, look at this receiver, and I was like, just like a white boy, but I was like, bro, swaggy with it, like
Swaggy.
had
Cold.
the chin
chin
strap
strap
hanging
thing,
off,
yeah.
like yeah.
He was
and he's
cold,
that
bro.
same way. Like, you
Where's
got
he
on the
from?
phone.
He's from West Virginia.
From
He
West
played
Virginia.
running back in high school, and then he switched to slot in college. Yeah,
That was
cool.
definitely a cool.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
yeah.
I mean, I could go on for hours.
Yeah.
But thank you again.
I appreciate y'all.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was dope, bro. Super good.
Hope this season goes well for you.
Appreciate you.
Hope nothing happens.
Appreciate you.
It'll be fun, especially playing under Coach Prime. You haven't practiced under him yet.
Not yet. I go up next week.
Next week,
Okay.
well, safe travels.
I appreciate
Yeah.
Stay warm.
Yeah, we'll stay in
Always.
touch too, for
Yeah, let's
sure.
do it.
I'll get your number and all that.
Do you have anything for us before we hit this off?
I just want to say I appreciate y'all having me. It was fun. This is my first time doing this, so I definitely had fun. I mean, try to hopefully make something happen in the future again.
Yeah,
This is-
absolutely,
this
bro.
is-
And
this
we're
is
gonna be
definitely
rooting
cool.
for you.
Any shout outs you want to give?
Shout out my boys. Shout out my family. Shout out to the ones up in Boulder. And other than that, that's good on my part.
We're gonna put all his socials down below. Go watch him this season. Big things coming to happen. Playing at Colorado, so you know they're gonna be on TV. That'll do it for your boys over here at Opinionated. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace.
Peace.